CDL Practice Test, Illinois, General Knowledge, Part 8. Question number 177. Convex curved mirrors, A. Make objects appear closer than they really are, B. Make objects appear larger than they really are, C. Show a wider area than flat mirrors. The correct answer here, C. Show a wider area than flat mirrors. Explanation. A convex mirror has a wider field of view than a flat mirror. However, objects viewed in a convex mirror look smaller and farther away than they really are. Bear this in mind when you're trying to judge the distance of an object that you're viewing in a convex mirror. Question number 178. In relation to impaired driving, what does the acronym BACS stand for? A. Best achievable concentration, B. Badly affected concentration, C. Best achievable control, D. Blood alcohol concentration. The correct answer is here, D. Blood alcohol concentration. Explanation. BAC, blood alcohol concentration, is the amount of alcohol in your bloodstream. The more alcohol is in your bloodstream, the worse your driving will be. Your BAC is affected by the amount drunk, the speed the alcohol was drunk at, and personal weight. Question number 179. What checks should you perform on the steering gearbox? A. Up to 1 stroke 4 of the steering parts may be broken. B. The steering box should not have mismatched, bent, or cracked lug nuts. C. The steering box should not be missing any nuts, bolts, or cotter keys. The correct answer is here, C. The steering box should not be missing any nuts, bolts, or cotter keys. Explanation. When you turn the steering wheel, the steering gearbox translates the rotation of the steering column into the turning of the wheels on the steering axle. When you inspect the steering, check that the steering box is securely mounted, neither it nor the hoses connected to it are leaking, and no nuts, bolts, or cotter keys are missing. Question number 180. What is the average reaction distance? A. 32 feet, B. 93 feet, C. 61 feet. The correct answer is here, C. 61 feet. Explanation. 3/4 second to 1 second at 55 miles per hour. This accounts for 61 feet traveled. Question number 181. When should you first inspect your vehicle? A. Whenever a light comes on. B. Every day. C. None of these. Inspection is not the responsibility of the driver, it will be done by a certified mechanic. D. Before starting the trip, pre-inspection. The correct answer is here, D. Before starting the trip, pre-inspection. Explanation. You should always inspect your vehicle before starting your trip to look for any potential problems. Question number 182. Controlled braking, A. Involves locking the wheels for short periods of time. B. Can be used while you are turning sharply. C. Is used to keep a vehicle in a straight line when braking. The correct answer here, C, is used to keep a vehicle in a straight line when braking. Explanation. In controlled braking, you apply the brakes as hard as you can without locking the wheels, keeping movement of the steering wheel to a minimum. Question number 183. What is a special condition in which you should downshift your vehicle? A. You should downshift when you are on a road with hills. B. You should downshift when you feel like you are traveling at too fast a speed. C. You should downshift when you are going downhill. D. You should downshift before you start going downhill. The correct answer here, D. You should downshift before you start going downhill. Explanation. You should always downshift before going downhill to prevent your brakes from overheating and losing braking power. Question number 184. The road you are driving on becomes very slippery because of glare ice. Which of these is a good thing to do in such a situation? A. Stop driving as soon as you can safely do so. B. Downshift to stop. C. Apply the brakes often to keep the linings dry. The correct answer here, A. Stop driving as soon as you can safely do so. Explanation. When traveling on ice, your vehicle's braking distance can increase tremendously. On ice, slow down to a crawl and stop driving as soon as you can do so safely. Question number 185. Why should you be in the proper gear before starting down a hill? A. The clutch is made to be used on even surfaces. B. You will not be able to shift into a lower gear once you are going down a hill. C. You need to be in the same gear at the bottom of the hill. The correct answer here, B. You will not be able to shift into a lower gear once you are going down a hill. Explanation. When you're about to start down a steep downgrade, release the gas pedal, shift into a low gear, and use engine braking to slow your vehicle. Don't try to downshift after your speed has already built up. You will not be able to shift into a lower gear then. You may not even be able to get back into any gear and all engine braking effect will be lost. If you try to downshift an automatic transmission after your speed has already built up, you may damage the transmission. Question number 186. Which of these statements about speed management is true? A. Empty trucks always stop in shorter distances than fully loaded ones. B. When you double your speed, it will take twice the distance to stop. C. You should choose a speed that lets you stop within the distance that you can see ahead. The correct answer here, C. You should choose a speed that lets you stop within the distance that you can see ahead. Explanation. In bad weather or in the dark, your visibility may be limited. Open bracket. In thick fog, your visibility may be severely limited. You have no way of knowing what lies beyond the area that you can see. Don't drive faster than the distance ahead that you can see. Otherwise, if there is a hazard just a bit farther on, you may not be able to stop in time to avoid it. Question number 187. The distance that you should look ahead of your vehicle while driving is about at highway speed. A. 1 mile. B. 25 feet. C. 1/4 mile. The correct answer here, C. 1/4 mile. Explanation. While driving, you should scan the road 12-15 seconds ahead. At 60 miles per hour, your vehicle will travel a quarter of a mile in 15 seconds. Question number 188. It is important to shift gears correctly to keep A. the engine warm, B. control of the vehicle, C. the engine oil flowing. The correct answer is here, B. control of the vehicle. Explanation. For full control of your vehicle, you need to know when and how to upshift or downshift. Learn under what special conditions you should downshift. For example, learn how to use engine braking to slow your vehicle on a steep descent. Question number 189. How does bleeding tar affect the road surface and driving conditions? A. It is very sticky and slows down your vehicle. B. It does not affect the road surface or driving conditions. C. Tar rises to the road surface in very hot weather, causing the roads to become very slippery. The correct answer is here, C. Tar rises to the road surface in very hot weather, causing the roads to become very slippery. Explanation. On hot days, tar in the pavement can rise to the surface and create a slippery film on the road surface. Question number 190. The height of the vehicle center of gravity is very important for safe handling. A high center of gravity means you are more likely to do the following. A. Increase stopping distance. B. Increase speed going downhill. C. No answers are correct. D. Tip over. The correct answer is here, D. Tip over. Explanation. The height of the vehicle's center of gravity is very important for safe handling. A high center of gravity means you are more likely to tip over. It is most dangerous in curves, or if you have to swerve to avoid a hazard. Question number 191. How far ahead should you look? A. 12-15 seconds. B. 15-30 seconds. C. 5-10 seconds. The correct answer is here, A. 12-15 seconds. Explanation. While driving, you should scan the road 12-15 seconds ahead. At speeds that are typical of urban areas, your vehicle will travel about 1 block in 12-15 seconds. At 60 miles per hour, your vehicle will travel a quarter of a mile in 15 seconds. Question number 192. To avoid rollbacks when you start, you should A. Engage the clutch very quickly. B. Stop on a flat area. C. Partly engage the clutch before you take your right foot off the brake. The correct answer is here, C. Partly engage the clutch before you take your right foot off the brake. Explanation. When you start your vehicle, avoid rolling backward or else you may hit someone behind you. Set the parking brake whenever necessary to keep from rolling back. Release the parking brake only when you have applied enough engine power to keep from rolling back. If you have a manual transmission vehicle, partly engage the clutch before you take your right foot off the brake. On a tractor trailer equipped with a trailer brake hand valve, the hand valve can be applied to keep from rolling back. Question number 193. What is the purpose of blocking and bracing? A. To prevent cargo from interfering with brakes. B. To ensure that the cargo is evenly distributed. C. To make more room for storage in your vehicle. D. To prevent sliding movement of the cargo. The correct answer is here. D. To prevent sliding movement of the cargo. Explanation. The purpose of blocking and bracing is to prevent the sliding or movement of cargo. Blocking is used to tightly fit cargo, whereas bracing runs from the top of the cargo to the floor, or to the wall. Question number 194. How often should you check your mirrors? A. Every 1/4 mile. B. When turning or changing lanes. C. Every 8 to 10 seconds. The correct answer is here. C. Every 8 to 10 seconds. Explanation. You should check your mirrors every 8 to 10 seconds to know what is going on around your vehicle at all times. Question number 195. What's the most important tool you have for monitoring the condition of your vehicle on the road? A. Comments from other truckers. B. Your senses, eyesight, hearing, smell, feel. C. The gauges. D. The truck manual. The correct answer is here. B. Your senses, eyesight, hearing, smell, feel. Explanation. Become thoroughly familiar with your vehicle so that you will be able to sense any changes. Immediately use your senses, look, listen, smell, feel, to detect problems. Question number 196. Which of these statements about speed management is true? A. On a wet road, you should reduce your speed by about 1/3. B. On packed snow, you should reduce your speed by about 1/2. C. Both of the above answers are true. The correct answer is here. C. Both of the above answers are true. Explanation. On a slippery road surface, your vehicle's wheels will have less traction and the vehicle's braking distance will increase significantly. On wet roads, reduce your speed by about 1/3. On snow, reduce your speed by about 1/2. On ice, slow down to a crawl and stop driving altogether if possible. On ice, your vehicle's braking distance may increase tremendously. Question number 197. Who is responsible for making sure all lights and mirrors are clean? A. The company maintenance staff. B. The vehicle's driver. C. The vehicle's owner. D. Whoever drove the vehicle previously. The correct answer is here. B. The vehicle's driver. Explanation. Even if the mirrors and lights have been cleaned already, they may get dirty before you take the vehicle out or on your trip. Always have a clean rag or sponge handy to keep them in the best condition. Question number 198. You are starting your vehicle from a stop. As you apply power to the drive wheels, they start to spin. You should A. Try lower gear. B. Press harder on the accelerator. C. Take your foot off the accelerator. The correct answer is here. C. Take your foot off the accelerator. Explanation. If so much power is applied to the drive wheels that it overcomes the tire's grip of the road, the wheels will spin. This is more likely to occur if the road surface is slippery. To stop the drive wheels from spinning, take your foot off the accelerator. Accelerate slowly and gently from now on. Question number 199. What is the most important reason to signal well before you turn? A. To encourage other drivers to pull into your lane in front of you. B. To encourage other drivers to pass you. C. To discourage other drivers from trying to pass you. D. To avoid using the four-way emergency flashers when you are driving very slowly. The correct answer is here, C. To discourage other drivers from trying to pass you. Explanation. Warn the drivers behind you that you're about to turn. If you don't signal in time, they may try to pass you on the inside. Question number 201. How should you check for leaks in hydraulic brakes? A. Depress the pedal and listen for leaks. B. Hold the brake pedal down for 5 seconds, then pump it 3 times. C. Drive forward, then slam on the brakes hard. D. Pump the brake pedal 3 times, then hold it down for 5 seconds. The correct answer is here, D. Pump the brake pedal 3 times, then hold it down for 5 seconds. Explanation. Pumping the brake pedal should cause resistance. Then you should be able to hold the brake pedal for 5 seconds without feeling any weakness or give. Question number 202. Blocking the cargo to keep it from shifting must be done. A. Only at the front of a piece of cargo. B. At the cargo deck. C. At the front, back, and or sides of a piece of cargo. The correct answer is here, C. At the front, back, and or sides of a piece of cargo. Explanation. Blocking and bracing can prevent cargo from shifting. Use blocking and bracing to keep cargo from shifting in whichever directions it might move. Blocking fits snugly against cargo. Bracing runs from the upper part of the cargo to the floor or walls of the cargo compartment. Question number 203. Which of the following best describes how sleep debt can be paid off? A. It can be overcome with willpower and non-sleep aids. B. It will go away by itself over a period of time. C. It can only be paid off by sleeping. The correct answer is here, C. It can only be paid off by sleeping. Explanation. Sleep debt is a dangerous condition in which missing sleep adds up until you risk falling asleep at the wheel unless you get some rest. People are often surprised that getting less than 6 hours of sleep per night triples the risk of an accident. At least 15% of heavy truck crashes are believed to involve driver fatigue. Before each trip, you should get adequate sleep. Adults need 8 to 9 hours to maintain alertness.